Hey fun, it's Emily. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. I hope you are all doing well. Today we're doing a video on bits and pieces, and this is one that I'm excited about. It's a brand that I have been gravitating towards for the past year, and prior to 2023, I really hadn't done them at all. It's a brand for me that I always thought was kind of traditional, very classic images. It wasn't a brand that I was like, ooh, wow, look at them. Except for when I saw that they had these new Cloud 9 puzzles, and I was like, that sounds like something I want to do a video on. So we are doing some of their Cloud 9 puzzles today, and I cannot be more excited for this video. So the two that I have on hand, we have a 280 piece count, and then we have a 493 piece count, and those are the two piece counts that I saw online, and I want to see what the difference was. So the first one that I have already done is this one called Great Owl Eye. And this one, again, 280 pieces, very vibrant and bright. And I do have some overhead footage, and I wanted to talk you through my experience with this one. So this one, I just think image-wise, it is so fun, but I wouldn't want to do it in a larger piece count because it's kind of intimidating for me. So I'm very excited to share that one with you. And then this one I haven't done yet, but I will do on camera for you today. This one is called Hot Air Balloons, which if you're new to my channel, I have this thing for hot air balloons. No, I have never been in one, but I love them. And so this image is just screaming out to me. Very beautiful sunset in the background, lots of hot air balloons in the front, and it just looks so much fun. So I'm excited to do this one today. So what's interesting with this piece style is that they're called tessellation. So for the 280 piece puzzle, you only have two different styles of pieces, and they just repeat over and over. So you're not getting a variety of different pieces. You're not getting a option where this two piece is different than that two piece. There's only two style of pieces, and they are all the same. So part of the challenge is to do this puzzle with all the same exact piece shape, which is an interesting concept. With the 493 piece puzzles, they have three different styles of pieces. I'm excited to try this one today. Again, I'll give you some insight of how I experienced this one, and I will say the final image was absolutely stunning. So I'm excited to explore this topic with you. Let me know if this is something that you would be interested in trying. It's definitely a different style of piece shape than I've ever experienced. I know I had done one that was the hexagon pieces, but those ones even had a little bit of variation. These ones, the pieces are exactly the same, and there's just two different styles. So we're just gonna get into this. I hope you're all doing well, and let's just get started. Starting off with the owl puzzle, this one has two different piece shapes. One has 8 edges, and then one is kind of like a cross shape, and all the pieces are either one of those styles. And here's one up close. It has quite a bit of a shine to it, and it is quite on the normal side for thickness. The first thing I did was sort out just a little bit. I sorted out the blue pieces, things that might be the eye, and then a couple other patterns, but not too thorough. You're gonna see Oliver in this video quite a bit. He really wanted to help. The first section that I did was this eye and this orange pattern. This was easy because it was very distinct areas, very distinct lines, and I was able to experiment with the piece shape quite a bit, and it does look like every single piece can fit together, as well as like rotating the pieces, like each side of those pieces also fits together. After the eye, I moved on to the blue section, also a nice easy area to work with. And I will say figuring out the edges was interesting because technically every single piece has some sort of edge to it. I did end up figuring out that there was two different styles of pieces that were the actual edges, so I did end up figuring it out. And I was also realizing how big this puzzle is. So it's only 280 pieces, but it ends up being bigger than most of the 1,000 pieces that I own. Oftentimes when I'm puzzling, I'm using foam board, where most of my 1,000 pieces will fit on there perfectly. And this puzzle at 280 pieces was actually about 2 inches too wide for me to fit on those foam boards. The next area that I decided to work on was the forehead of the owl, and this area was definitely the hardest of the puzzle and really required a lot of patience and time because it's just a black and white pattern and all the pieces fit together. So here I'm showing you in real time what it actually looks like. I'm going piece by piece and actually rotating every single piece because even those other edges would fit. I'm putting it flat against the puzzle so I can see the pattern against the image and just to figure out if it was the right piece, if it wasn't, without actually pushing it in every single time. So just took a lot of patience and just really looking up close, bending over the puzzle to make sure that the pattern lined up. And sometimes I got it right and sometimes I didn't and have to backtrack. So I will say if you are not a fan of pieces being in the wrong place, then this style of puzzle may not be your friend. So speeding it back up, I continued on with the forehead, going piece by piece, rotating it, making sure that the pattern fit. Again, it was definitely a little bit of trial and error, but eventually I did end up getting it complete, and I was so happy once that section was done because it was definitely challenging. Once the forehead was complete, I moved down to the chest of the owl. Definitely easier than that black and white pattern. We at least had orange to work with and these very distinct feather lines that I could use to help me out. And that area wasn't too bad. I feel like, again, the most challenging part was that black and white pattern because it was just so close and every single piece, it just looked so similar. And as we get close to the end here, I really got my groove, really enjoyed the colors of this section, and I just wanted to say how fun it is to work with these massive pieces. Every single piece was really satisfying once you actually got it into its right spot, so it was just super fun. I finally was able to do the bottom edge, and I think it's really funny, you'll see in just a minute, but as I'm doing this area, this was definitely again another challenging spot because we just had like this gray haziness, and I thought I was doing really well. I ended up having quite a few pieces at this point out of place in this black and gray section towards the bottom, to the point that at the very end, even the last piece, I was like, this doesn't quite line up, and I had to switch it out at the end, but it ended up turning out really beautifully. I love the final result for this puzzle. It's so vibrant, so colorful, and the fit is absolutely beautiful. I feel like better than a typical bits and pieces puzzle. I really enjoyed this one. Moving on to the hot air balloon puzzle, I won't talk you through the whole strategy of this one, but I did want to show you the pieces because they are a little bit different. So you have 3 piece styles instead of 2, but when you actually look at them, 2 of them actually make up that 8-sided puzzle piece that you saw in the 280 piece puzzle. So I also wanted to show you those 2 pieces because they obviously don't go together in the image, but they do go together when you're just playing around with them. So same concept where pretty much everything fits together. You do have to be a little bit on the careful and patient side of things, but the image for this one was very easy, so I really didn't run into any pieces going in the wrong spot. So just so you know my strategy going into this puzzle, I first started off with the hot air balloons, as well as that gradient sky that's really fun in the background. Once I was done with the balloon area, I moved down to the grass, which I thought was going to be really challenging, but once you look up close, you do see different variations and lines within the green color. So again, really didn't have anything go in the wrong place. The extra piece style really didn't hinder me at all. I feel like it actually made it just a little bit more fun. I had a little bit more puzzling time, and this one was really quick. So the first puzzle, the 280 piece, took me about 1 hour and 40 minutes. This one took me just under 2 hours. So even though it's almost twice the amount of pieces, it actually didn't take me much longer. Alright, so I am back. I just want to give you a little recap, some final thoughts on these puzzles. Both were super fun. I feel like fit-wise, they are a little bit better than my typical bits and pieces puzzles that I've done. Really secure fit. If you wanted to do a pickup challenge, you could. It was really interesting trying to do this type of piece style. You kind of just have to take your time with it, check each piece, especially with like certain patterns like up here, where it could be a few different pieces and they all could fit, which for some may be really frustrating. For me, it just added a little bit of a challenge, especially since for this one, it's only 280 pieces. On a typical puzzle that's this piece count, that would only take me maybe 40 minutes, and this one took me quite a bit longer. And it was nice because I was able to have more puzzling time. It just added a little bit something extra, and I really enjoyed this one. I feel like the final result was absolutely beautiful. I think it was fun because this isn't a style I would normally go for, and I like just branching out of my comfort zone. So I really enjoyed this one. I also, of course, loved the balloon puzzle. I say out of the two piece counts, I think I do prefer the larger one. For one, you do get, again, more puzzling time, but also just having that one extra piece variation made it a little bit more interesting, and I feel like it gave you more to work from, and it really wasn't that much harder. Well, especially image-wise, this one was a lot easier than the owl one, but I did really enjoy it, and I will say that even though they are all the same piece cuts, on occasion you do have one or two that may be cut a little bit off, so it's not like 100% accurate for every single piece, but I say it's pretty close. So if you are not a fan of pieces going in multiple places, you may not be a fan of this, but if you want the extra challenge, I say these are worth a shot. But for me, I really enjoy these. I could definitely see me getting maybe a couple more in the future depending on the image, and I would be interested in trying more of this like tessellation type of piece style. So if you know of other brands that do something similar, please let me know. I know I've personally seen it with like laser cut wooden puzzles, but haven't seen it too often in the cardboard puzzle world. So that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If there's other puzzle brands that you'd like me to review, please let me know down in the comments. And that's it for me. Have a good day. Bye guys.